The man who walked on water. He was sinking into the storm, but I saw a man who had the courage to step out of the boat. The Sea of Galilee, often a place of serene beauty and bountiful harvest, could also transform into a tempestuous beast with breathtaking speed. My disciples, many of whom were seasoned fishermen, knew its moods well, respecting its capacity for both calm and fury. On this particular day, we had spent many hours teaching and ministering to the crowds on the shore. The sun, having completed its westward journey, was now painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, signaling the end of another demanding yet fulfilling day. Weariness settled upon us, a natural consequence of pouring out our energy to those in need. As dusk deepened, I instructed my disciples to cross to the other side of the lake. I needed a solitary moment, a communion with the Father, to replenish my spirit and seek His guidance. Bidding them farewell, I ascended a nearby mountain, the silence of the higher elevation, a stark contrast to the clamor of the departing crowds. Under the watchful gaze of the emerging stars, I poured out my heart in prayer, finding solace and strength in the Father's unwavering presence. Hours passed in this sacred communion, the night growing darker and the wind beginning to whisper secrets through the hills. Meanwhile, my disciples found themselves battling the unpredictable nature of the Galilee. The gentle breeze that had accompanied their departure had morphed into a strong headwind, whipping the water into a frenzy. Waves, initially playful, now crashed against the small fishing boat with increasing ferocity, threatening to overwhelm their vessel. The darkness intensified, obscuring their vision and amplifying the roar of the wind and the crashing waves. They were of a struggle, their ordinary skills as fishermen being tested beyond their limits by the sheer power of the storm. Fear, a primal instinct in the face of such overwhelming forces, began to grip their hearts. They were alone, it seemed, against the untamed elements, their destination feeling impossibly distant. The tranquility of the evening had been a deceptive veil. As the night deepened, the winds intensified with alarming speed, transforming the once calm sea into a churning cauldron of water. It was not merely a strong breeze. It was a full-fledged storm, the kind that could swallow small boats whole. The waves rose with menacing heights, each one a dark, foamy mountain threatening to capsize their fragile vessel. The wind howled like a tormented beast, tearing at the sails and lashing rain against their faces. The small fishing boat, usually their reliable companion, was now tossed about like a toy in the hands of a giant. The disciples, experienced as they were on these waters, found themselves in a desperate fight for survival. The rhythmic lapping of waves against the hull had been replaced by violent crashes that sent jolts of fear through their bodies. Water began to breach the sides of the boat, and they worked frantically to bail it out, their efforts seeming futile against the relentless onslaught of the storm. The darkness was absolute, punctuated only by the flashes of lightning that momentarily illuminated their terrified faces and the raging sea around them. The familiar landmarks of the shore had vanished, leaving them lost and vulnerable in the heart of the tempest. The storm was a sudden and brutal interruption of their ordinary journey, a raw display of nature's power that threatened to claim them all. Hours into their struggle, the disciples were exhausted, their bodies aching and their spirits sinking with each crashing wave. Their initial confidence had long since evaporated, replaced by a gnawing fear that bordered on despair. The relentless battering of the storm, the constant bailing of water, and the overwhelming darkness had taken their toll. They looked at each other, their faces pale and etched with terror, and saw their own fear reflected in the eyes of their companions. The cries of the wind and the roar of the sea seemed to mock their desperate efforts. They had faced storms before, but this one felt different, more malevolent. The waves were higher, the wind fiercer, the darkness more complete. Their skills as fishermen, usually a source of pride and security, now seemed inadequate against the sheer power of the elements. The boat groaned under the strain, every creak and shudder a reminder of their precarious situation. The thought of drowning, of being swallowed by the unforgiving sea, became a chillingly real possibility. They were at their breaking point, their physical and emotional reserves depleted. In the midst of the chaos, their minds likely raced with thoughts of their families, their lives, and the seemingly hopeless predicament they were in. The storm had stripped away their self-reliance, leaving them utterly vulnerable and convinced that their end was near. In the darkest hour, when their hope had dwindled to a mere flicker, a sight both terrifying and miraculous pierced through the storm-tossed darkness. A figure was approaching them, walking on the very waves that threatened to consume them. In the dim light of the storm, their weary eyes struggled to comprehend what they were seeing. Fear, in its rawest form, gripped them. They cried out in terror, believing they were seeing a ghost, a phantom conjured by their exhausted minds and the eerie conditions of the night. The supernatural nature of the apparition only amplified their distress. But then, a voice, familiar and yet somehow transcending the roar of the storm, cut through their fear. "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." It was my voice, a beacon of calm amidst the chaos. Recognition dawned in their eyes, and the terror began to give way to a mixture of awe and relief. Yet, the sight of a man walking on water defied all natural laws, and a sense of wonder and disbelief remained. It was Peter, ever impetuous and driven by a fervent faith, who spoke next. "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." His request, born of a mixture of faith and a desire to emulate the seemingly impossible, was a pivotal moment. I responded with a simple yet powerful command. "Come." With those words, the shift began, a testament to the power of faith in the face of the impossible. My appearance on the water that night was not merely a demonstration of a miraculous ability. It was a profound lesson about faith, fear, and the divine authority bestowed upon me by the Father. In the midst of their terror and exhaustion, I came to reveal a greater truth, that even in the most overwhelming circumstances, faith in me can enable the seemingly impossible. Walking on water was a tangible manifestation of my power over the natural world, a visual representation of the supernatural authority that underpins my ministry and my very being. Peter's subsequent act of stepping out of the boat was a crucial part of this divine lesson. His initial steps, taken with his eyes fixed on me, were a testament to the power of faith in action. As long as his focus remained on me, the impossible became possible. However, when his attention wavered, when he allowed the raging storm and the immensity of his circumstances to consume his vision, fear took root, and he began to sink. This was not a failure of my power, but a consequence of his faltering faith. His cry for help, "Lord, save me," was a moment of human vulnerability acknowledging divine power. My immediate response, reaching out to grasp his hand, was a demonstration of my unwavering support and love, even in moments of doubt. The purpose of this extraordinary event was multifaceted. It was to reassure my disciples of my divine nature and the limitless power at my command. It was to teach them, and all who would hear this story, that fear is a crippling force that can undermine even the strongest faith. And it was to illustrate that true reliance should not be placed on earthly abilities or circumstances, but on the unwavering power of God. The miracle on the water was a vivid parable, etched in the memory of those who witnessed it, about the transformative power of faith and the ever-present help available to those who trust in me. It was a demonstration that with God, the impossible becomes possible, and that even in the deepest storms of life, we can find solid ground in unwavering faith. Peter, emboldened by my command and fueled by a surge of faith, did the unthinkable. He stepped out of the relative safety of the boat and onto the turbulent surface of the sea. For a breathtaking moment, he defied the laws of nature, his feet finding purchase on the very waves that were moments before threatening to swallow him whole. His eyes were fixed on mine, his trust unwavering. The wind howled around him, the waves crashed nearby, but he remained upright, a testament to the power of faith when directed towards me. The other disciples watched in stunned silence, their fear momentarily replaced by awe and disbelief at the sight of Peter walking on water. However, the ferocity of the storm was relentless. As Peter continued to walk, the sheer power of the wind and the towering height of the waves began to draw his attention away from me. He allowed the immensity of the physical circumstances to overwhelm his spiritual focus. Doubt, like an insidious poison, began to seep into his heart. The wind seemed stronger, the waves higher, his own ability suddenly inadequate. Fear took root, and the miraculous began to falter. His steps became unsteady, and he began to sink beneath the churning surface. The initial exhilaration of faith was replaced by the chilling reality of his predicament. "Lord, save me!" he cried out, his voice a desperate plea amidst the roar of the storm. Immediately, I reached out my hand and took hold of him. "O you of little faith," I said, my voice a gentle rebuke tinged with compassion. "Why did you doubt?" With my hand firmly grasping his, we walked together back towards the boat, the turbulent waters seeming to calm slightly in our presence. As we climbed back into the boat, the wind ceased, and the sea became still. The disciples, who had witnessed this extraordinary display of power and the poignant lesson on faith, were filled with awe. They knelt before me, their initial fear now transformed into profound reverence, and declared, "Truly you are the Son of God." The closing impact of this event was indelible. Peter's initial triumph and subsequent struggle served as a powerful metaphor for the journey of faith. It illustrated the exhilarating heights attainable when our focus remains steadfast on me, and the perilous depths we can sink to when we allow fear and doubt to cloud our vision. The disciples learned a profound lesson that night, that true trust lies not in our own abilities or the calmness of our circumstances, but in the unwavering power and presence of God, even in the midst of life's most violent storms. The miracle of the walking on water, and Peter's brief participation in it, became a timeless testament to the courage that faith inspires and the unwavering support available to those who, even in their doubt, reach out to me. I see you. I see the heart behind the screen, the soul that carries burdens you believe no one else can see. You've walked a path that left you feeling invisible, a story of quiet pain that has gone unheard. But I want you to know that in this moment, you are not a face in the crowd. You are the one I came to find, the one I am speaking to directly. Every tear you've shed, every prayer you've whispered in the darkness, I have heard it all. And I am here to tell you, you are seen, you are known, and you are deeply loved. Do not let the lies of your past define your future. I am not focused on where you have been, but on where you are going. Your mistakes do not diminish your value in my eyes. They are simply a part of a story I am ready to rewrite with you, a testament to the grace that is about to unfold. My love for you is not earned or deserved. It is a gift, freely given, and it is more powerful than any brokenness you carry. It has the power to heal the deepest wounds and to make all things new, to turn your shame into a testimony. The world may have told you to be quiet, to shrink into the shadows, but I am calling you by name. Your voice, your pain, your hope, it all matters to me. I am standing at the door of your heart, not to judge or to condemn, but to be invited in, to bring peace to the chaos. I want to partner with you in your life, to turn your weaknesses into strengths and your sorrows into joy. The story of your life is not over. It is just beginning, and I am the author. You are not an accident. You were created with a purpose so magnificent that the world cannot even comprehend it. Your life is not a mistake, but a masterpiece in the making. Let go of the fear of what others think and hold on to the truth of who I see you to be. A precious child, deeply loved and full of incredible potential. The same hands that calmed the storm and healed the sick are ready to touch your life and set you free from every chain that binds you. I know the healing you long for, the peace your soul craves. It is not found in a person or a place, but in a relationship with me. I am the living water that will quench your thirst forever. I am the bread of life that will satisfy the deepest hunger of your heart. All you have to do is reach out and ask, and I will be there, waiting with open arms. Let go of the need to be perfect, and simply come as you are. So let your faith be louder than your fears. Let your hope be stronger than your doubt. Remember this moment, this conversation, and know that I am with you, always. I am the one who gives you a future of hope, and I am the one who will never let you go. The peace you are searching for is already here, ready for you to receive it. Just take that first step of faith. I am waiting. If my love and these words have resonated with your heart, know that this is just the beginning. I've prepared a new journey for you, and I invite you to take these next 3 steps with me. First, step into your purpose. Do not keep this message to yourself. Your story, your faith, is the greatest miracle I can show the world. Share this video with a friend, a family member, or a stranger who needs to be reminded that they are not alone. Your voice can be the echo of my voice, reaching a soul that feels unseen. Second, join this family. My kingdom is a community, and I want you to be a part of it. Subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. By doing this, you are not just getting a new video, you are answering my call to a deeper relationship. Each new story is a new encounter I have prepared for you, a new step on the path of your destiny. Finally, let your faith be seen. The world needs to hear from you. In the comments below, share your story. How has my love changed your life? Your testimony is a powerful beacon of hope that can move mountains and silence the voice of doubt in others. When you speak, you give me the opportunity to work through you. Your voice, united with mine, can change the world. I am here, waiting for you to step forward.